Hi there, welcome to Kneppy Invest, and welcome to April the 2nd, 2025. The market hasn't quite closed. Normal trading has ceased, but we're in the closing auction. So that means if you want to buy some shares right now, put it into the line, and hopefully your shares will be matched with some sellers or vice versa. You can all play the closing auction game. For instance, if you have a look at Zip, which is a stock of the day, by the way, someone wants to buy some shares at $1.75. No, they won't get the shares at $1.75, but they really, really want some shares. And these sellers really, really want to sell their shares. So we have quite a few sellers at $1.49. So what happens is all the buyers and sellers get matched up with one price. So there's only one price they're buying and selling at. It's not at the price that they've quoted. So hopefully everyone understands what a closing auction is. You don't buy or sell at the price you put in. It all depends on the algorithm. In fact, if you do have a look, this is the price based off the buyers and sellers that the share price of Zip will close at $1.58.5. So those who have put in a bid above that level will buy shares at that point, and those sellers who have put a sell bid below 158.5 will buy or sell their shares at that price level if it doesn't change, and it will fluctuate over the next 8 minutes. A lot of shenanigans happen in the closing auction. Okay, interesting day on the market. I expected us maybe to be up a little bit, and then we started on a tear. We're up by about 0.6%. And when I say we, I'm talking about the SGO. I didn't understand why we were up so much. And then we did see the market slip halfway through the day. Bad day for small caps and a really bad day for mining, down 1.71%. An okay day for tech, up 0.37%. But that should have been expected because NASDAQ was up 1% or so. Dow Jones was down a little bit. Okay, so the agenda for today's video, we'll go through the ASX today, look at the best and worst performing sectors, indices, and also companies. And then we'll go through the top 5 stocks of the day. And I suppose I'll give you the top 5 right now. There were a few companies that did not make it, not many. AMA Group and Karoon. AMA Group and Karoon did not quite make it in top 5, but the companies that did make it in top 5 include Zip. In fact, I don't even know if they released anything today in regards to what's happening. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, they did release something, but it was not price sensitive. Vulcan Energy share price probably down a fair bit. I would not be surprised if it's down by more than 10%. Yep, down 10.51%. SGR, not back to trading, however, not good news. Not good news for that company. A company called Biome did release a bit of a trading update, and I'm not sure how the market reacted. Let's have a look. Up 2%, and I just like these trading updates. That's why it's in the top 5. And of course, we are in April, which means it is quarterly reporting month. Companies who have to report Appendix 4C or 5B, in fact, all mining companies will release a quarterly report this month. Always wait out for the first Appendix 4C and 5B, and I will mention those winners. And we have a winner today. And the first company to release a quarterly report today, this April, is a company called Polymetals Resources. And I'm pretty sure they won last January. They released their report on the 6th of January. So this is the benefits for releasing your quarterly report early, because you might be mentioned on Kneppy Invest. So have a look at Polymetals, and it's actually a really interesting company, by the way. Share price has increased from last January, and you'll see why I find it interesting. I have made a few purchases. Maybe I'll talk about those companies instead of answering one of your questions. I did make 3 purchases today. I might answer Telix. And Fantastica has also mentioned that it could be Chinese propaganda about this deal between China, Japan, and South Korea, because South Korean and Japan's trade ministers have said, huh? We don't know what's going on here. Anyway, so yeah, that doesn't surprise me. I would have been more surprised if there is some sort of deal between these 3 countries, just because there's so much animosity. But I was being hopeful, but obviously not. And yeah, Telix, I did notice, was down a fair bit today. Not sure why. Okay, so let's have a look at the ASX today. Okay. Yeah, so pretty, I suppose, relatively speaking, okay day in the market. I would not be surprised if Wall Street is down, say NASDAQ is down 2% or 3%, maybe even 4%, or it could be up 2, 3, 4% today. tonight. Tonight's session is really important because it's Liberation Day, or as many economists are calling it, Lunacy Day, where the Trump administration is just going to put tariffs on everything. You get a tariff, as Oprah Winfrey will say. You get a tariff, and you get a tariff, and you get a tariff. Everyone's going to get a tariff. And those who are saying that he's just using it as a tool or leverage, a bargaining chip, I think that is looking less and less likely. He does seem like he really likes tariffs. And I think the reason, and I'm starting to believe this, the reason he really likes tariffs is because it's the only lever he has. It's the only lever he has, but he's trying to change it. And that is a concern for democracy, not only in the United States, but also around the world. That's all I'm going to say about that. Anyway, so yeah, we rallied really hard on open. In fact, XJ was up 0.6%, and then it dropped. I thought it was within the first few hours. Yeah, it dropped almost straight away. And then since then, it's just been sort of going down slowly, maybe. Yeah, so uh, it looked like it was going to be a really good day, and then not so. Well, I suppose it's still good. It was up. Best performing sectors, real estate. So Goodman Group probably had a really good day. IT had a good day. Healthcare, discretionary telecommunications, and financials all up by over 0.7%. So definitely a bifurcated market today, and a pretty bad day for staples, energy, and material. Now, in energy, that could be coal, uranium, oil, gas. I'm going to look at all. I'm going to have a look at staples as well. That could be Woolworths. Not sure. I don't know if there was any news within the staple sector. In fact, Treasury wine. Okay, Treasury wine down 5.15%. That did not help, but all the other big companies in the consumer staples were also down, including Woolworths down 1%. Treasury wine, some sort of management change or something. I can't remember what it was. Market hasn't liked it. Nigel Gerard to join Treasury Wine Board as non-executive director. Is that the reason why the share price has sold off? Doesn't look like it is price sensitive, but share price is down 5%, so maybe it is. Don't know. And energy. So which part of energy has gone down today? Let's have a look at the companies by market cap, and they're all down except Next Gen Energy in Canada. That was up, but they're all down. Woodside, coal's down, oil's down, even some uranium companies down as well. I bought some Karoon Energy today, but yeah, pretty negative day. In fact, if you go down the list, some companies are down by 20%, although Energy Resources Australia has a share price of 0.2 cents. How many shares on issue do they have? They must have a billion. No, not a billion. They must have, if the share price is 0.2 cents, in $810 million market cap, they must have, and only 25 shares traded. What's happening there? They must have, like, I've, in the back of mine, I know this. 405 billion shares on issue. Yeah, I wouldn't even think of, that's probably why I don't know, because I wouldn't even have a look at this company. Anyway, so not the best day. Definitely a bifurcated market. This is, I think, the definition of bifurcated. Some sectors are doing really well, some sectors do really badly. Banks had a good day. Don't know why. Don't know why. They're still way overvalued, particularly CBA. Maybe it's just passive money going into it. I don't know. This is probably why I don't invest passively, because it goes into stuff that's really overvalued. Gold's had a bad day. Yeah, down 1.68%. Not surprising, because I did notice a few of my gold companies were down today. Okay, let's go to the best and worst performing companies today before we have a look at the top 5 stocks. By the way, let's have a look at Zip. I was focusing on. We're almost in the closing auction, and we've looks like we've done it. Yep. Oh, the closing auction happened at 5 seconds past 4:10. So it doesn't always happen at the same time. It's always within a 30-second period. So you can't really, or you can't as manipulate the market as what you might. And I'm pretty sure they do that too. So there's less manipulation. But yeah, anyway. Let's go to the best and worst performing companies on the ASX today, and top gainers. Ooh, Aurum having another pretty good day. Had a pretty good day yesterday. Market cap is still fairly low. Yeah, so it's interesting. Koonenberry, I should have included Koonenberry. Should have included Koonenberry. Can I include? No, I can't. I've already decided on the top 5. I actually did have a look at this one, Koonenberry, and I thought, "Ooh, it looks pretty good," and I completely forgot about it until just now. So KNB, Koonenberry, I do like the name Koonenberry, sort of like a raspberry and boysenberry. Yeah, boysenberry, that's a good one. So they had a drill result or something, and I just went, "What? 170 meters at 1.75 grams per gold, including 18.3 meters at 9.95 grams per ton. That's impressive. I think that's really impressive. So I thought I wouldn't have been surprised if the share price was significantly higher than only up 21.95%. So that's interesting. What's the market cap of this company? It's 46.11 million. Share price has increased 172% this year. Well, that's because it's gold. Uh, I just had a look at this and just went, that's really good. Without even opening it up. I didn't open it up. I just saw that and went, oh, that's really good. And then I thought to myself, I should have a look at their investor presentation. Because 170 meters, that's pretty thick. And even at 18.3 meters at 9.95, that's pretty good. So I've always considered like 100 meters at 2 grams per ton to be a really good hit. So this is 170 meters at 1.75. So it's almost similar. Let's have a little chart for Koonenberry. And I reckon this chart probably is looking pretty good. Share price is below 10 cents. That's okay. Well, that is the daily chart. What I'm going to do is just go to this. There we go. And yeah, the chart looks pretty good. So not the best looking candlestick today, and I think one of the reasons why we did have a weak day in gold, so that probably did weigh on the price of Koonenberry, but a really good, this chart, I like this chart, I like that announcement. Definitely one to put on your watch list, maybe. Although those gold bugs probably already know about this company. What else do we have here? Nothing much. Nothing much. I wonder if on occasion a viewer is screaming at the phone or the TV or the computer or the laptop, saying, "Oh no, talk about this company." I can't talk about all companies here. So there's probably a few I'm missing here, but I've already talked about two or one company. So let's move on to top gainers by market cap. And at the top of this list, I would say a lot of these companies have been oversold. And that's the feeling I get right now. Light and Wonder, definitely. Let's have a look at Light and Wonder. You'll see what I mean. Light and Wonder, really oversold, and this is a bounce. Now, I do own Light and Wonder, but if the share price has collapsed over the last 3 trading days, if you put in like a, what do you call it, the RSI, and this would have been oversold. I'm going to RSI. There we go. Yep, it did. It was oversold. Yeah, it was oversold. Just oversold. Doesn't mean just because it's oversold doesn't mean we're going to have a bounce. But I'm just looking at all these companies, and what I'm seeing is companies whose share prices have dropped over the last week or so, and they're bouncing. Megaport, SRG Global, Kelsian, Paragon, maybe not Aspen. Kelly Partners is just probably the most overvalued company in the history of the world. So not even going to talk about that company. Cobb Financial, Rocks Resources. I don't think that one's oversold. That's the gold. A Roll by Surgery, maybe. DGL, yeah. I don't think that would be oversold, but some of these companies definitely screaming out bounces because they're oversold. Let's have a look at top gainers. No, top losers. Top losers. Top losers. Arawara has been up and down. Let's have a look at the chart for Aura. I just think of Illawarra when I see this company's name. I just think Illawarra. Obviously, it's an Aboriginal name. I'm pretty sure Illawarra would be, so Arawara would be. Yeah, so this company was featured a few days ago or a week ago. Share price rallied, 2-day rally, and it's dropped all the way back down. And this is the problem with these sort of companies. Sometimes you just don't know. Sometimes you just don't know. And pretty big volume coming through today. Did they release anything? Let's have a look. They might have released something negative. Yeah, they did. Okay. Well, fieldwork commences at Elizabeth Hill project. It doesn't sound negative, does it? So it could be just a bit of noise. Although that volume is. Whitehawk up a lot yesterday. Someone did mention Whitehawk in my comment section. Stay away from this company, they said, and I didn't reply, but yeah, I've been following Whitehawk for many years, and they've done nothing. I'm still dubious they're going to get anything out or serious out of this deal with the government in the United States. X-Reality Group, fairly low volume, so we can move on. I'm interested in that company, by the way. And that's one company I'm really waiting for their quarterly. I'm pretty sure this company has this like X round, what do you call it? Anyway, you know what I mean. But they also have the flights. I forget what they call it, where you put on a suit and they have the wind tunnel, think something that blows upwards, and it feels like you're flying. I forget what it's called, iFly or something like that. And they also have another small entertainment part or division, and I think they might be selling both and focusing on their virtual reality or something like that. Caprice, good day yesterday. Oh, well, no. I think Caprice had a bad day yesterday, another bad day. So that's not good. I mean, they have 2 bad days in a row, but that could be oversold. Could be a bounce. Top losers by market cap. Vulcan Energy, we'll talk about that company in the top five. You'll notice silver companies here. So that's the first thing I noticed. Quite a few silver companies. So silver must have been down big overnight. Let's have a look because I didn't actually have a look at this. Silver and gold must have had a bad day. No, not really. Gold was down slightly. God, Australian market's silly sometimes. And silver was down a little bit, not that much, 0.87%, but it's bouncing now. You don't always have to play the bounces. There's small daily changes. I think a lot of people try to play those. But anyway, so silver mines, Andean silver, although Andean silver did have a bad day yesterday or the day before, and Unico silver as well. In fact, the company I'll be talking about later, Polymetals, is actually a silver company, but share price of that company's not down. Peninsula Energy, well, that's a disaster. And that's about it. Okay, let's get to the top 5 stocks of the day. I won't mention the 2 companies that almost made it. So that's AMA Group. Looks like they have a new managing director or something like that. What's the other company I didn't quite make it? Oh, Karoon. Karoon. They also released an update for their Brazilian not project, whatever you call it, and it was actually positive. It was positive. I'll briefly look at it. They shut down production and they've gone back to production earlier than expected, or something like that. Bauna update. I'm pretty sure this is the Brazilian. Yeah, so they just mentioned advises that the well intervention has been successfully completed with the resuming production sooner than anticipated due to earlier intervention. Yeah, so I thought maybe this would lead to a rally in the share price, but it didn't really. Okay, so let's turn attention to the top 5 stocks of the day, starting with Polymetals, the winner for the company who released their Appendix 5B or 4C when they should, as early as possible, so all eyes are on it. This is you, all those other companies who will have to release Appendix 5B or 4C over the next 4 weeks. Yeah, 4 weeks. Uh, and yeah, I'll also mention if you go back 3 months ago to January, they released their Appendix 5B on the 6th of January. And I'm pretty sure, even though my memory can be deceiving, I'm pretty sure that was one of the first, if not the first Appendix 5B released. And as soon as I opened up this, I went, I've already looked at this company before. And I think it was then. Australia's next silver and zinc producer. So I thought, ooh, that sounds pretty good. It continues to advance the restart of its Endeavour silver zinc mine and will achieve first production during the current quarter. That's exciting. Commissioning during April and first ore processing in May. So it's not far away. It's just like next month. Near mine drilling at the car park prospect continues. Hope they're not be mining the car park because when will everyone park their cars? They did a capital raising, so that's another good thing. They've done a capital raising. They've got a lot of money, 33.75 million. I don't care about workforce. In fact, I want them to be more automated than anything else because that will save a lot of money. So 120 full-time personnel. Fully funded project, that's pretty good. On track to deliver first cash flow during the current quarter in line with the mine restart plan. So there's no point looking at the Appendix 5B because there's no cash flow. There's no receipts because it's coming up. In this sort of situation, sometimes I will wait just to see what it's like, what the cash flow is like, because sometimes it disappoints. A few occasions in the past where a company is restarting the mine or going to production, and then I had a look at the numbers and went, oh, not the best, or not what I really expected. Anyway, so let's have a look at this chart for Polymetals. And I have a feeling this chart's going to look pretty good. It's just a feeling I have. Not as good. Share price has rallied from the lows back in early March, 64 cents then, up to 92 cents. You can see a really good rally back in October. So that must have been when they decided they were going to restart the mine or something like that. So that was when the initial rally happened. So share price really hasn't done much since then, but it is in a really nice short-term uptrend right now. Share price high is $1. So those who don't believe technical analysis or don't believe in resistance or support, I don't believe that round numbers are very powerful psychological levels. Here's more proof. $1 is the top for this company's share price. So round numbers like 10 cents, $1, 1 cent, $100, $1,000, $10,000 are really powerful psychological levels. A lot of people will sell when share price gets to 99 cents. Sell 99 cents. Or $1. In fact, let's have a look. I don't think you will see no, there's nothing at $1 just yet. It's a little bit too far away. But what you'll see is, particularly at 10 cents, what you see is massive amount of bids at 10 cents, either on the buy, sell, or sell side, depending which side the share price is. But above $1, there's nothing. Yeah, there's like a couple of people have put sell bids in. Anyway, so not a lot of buys and sells here. So interesting company, but I'm going to do a little bit more research. So that's Koonenberry and now Polymetals. Coming in number 4, we have Biome, a company who I believe, in my opinion, has really good marketers. They do market their company. They sell their company like nothing else. They do release really good announcements, including their sort of like a trading update. And they did that today. Biome reports strong sales revenue for the third quarter financial year 25. By the way, EZZ Life Sciences, this is what you should do. EZZ doesn't do this. Biome does, and I believe that's one of the reasons why Biome is doing better. Not in terms of financials, but just the chart. It's just, in fact, if you look or compare the financials, EZZ Life Sciences is well beyond Biome, but Biome just markets themselves so much better. And it does generate a little bit of interest. So, in fact, it generates interest for me. I love these sort of trading updates. Shareholders want to know how the company's performing. So I love this sort of announcement. And even though the share price was only up 2%, it just deserves to be in the top 5. So I don't own this company. I've never owned this company. I did a video on Biome when the share price was 10 cents, I think. Biome. Biome. There we go. Introduction to Biome in June 2023. And the share price at that point was 10 cents. 10 cents. And I sort of wish I bought some shares in hindsight. Anyway, let's go back to their trading update. Another high growth quarter with sales revenue reaching 4.5 million in the third quarter, increasing 41% from the previous corresponding period. So financial year to date, sales of 13.4 million, same-store sales growing at 45%, compound annual growth rate 70% for the rolling 3 years, and was awarded the Terry White Kmart Retail Supplier of the Year. And they also expect to report another quarter of positive EBITDA for the third quarter. I do prefer you could argue that EBITDA is sort of like a proxy for cash flow. Maybe you could actually say that it's getting very close to cash flow. So it's going to be interesting when the company does release their quarterly report, because if we go back to the last one, I can't remember exactly. They released on the 20th of January. I can't remember if it was operating cash flow positive or not, but it would have been close. If it wasn't, it would have been really close. So let's have a look. Yeah, they're operating cash flow positive by $107,000. So it's slightly. You compare that to EZZ. EZZ had much higher cash flow, but again, they just don't market themselves. Anyway, so a pretty good day for Biome. Pretty good, maybe not day, but pretty good update. So things are moving in the right direction. The problem with Biome is maybe valuation, because they do release these sort of updates all the time. The market does like this company. The market cap is 110.76. By the way, EZZ, which has a massive amount of cash and is profitable, has a market cap of 70 million, and enterprise value, which is half that of Biome, yet it's performing much better. And again, I think the reason behind that is lack of marketing when it comes to EZZ. And trust me, let's have a look at EZZ. And you'll notice, yeah, there's no trading updates at all. All they do is release their Appendix 4C, half-year results. If we go back 1 year, that's all they do. Appendix 4C on the 24th of October, and then the next price sensitive announcement was the next Appendix 4C, apart from the final dividend announcement, which is not a real announcement. They did receive an ASX aware letter, but just no trading updates at all. Nothing. And I think if they kept informing the market how they were performing, I think this company would be doing much better when it comes to the chart and the share price, but they just don't do it. So the market is just guessing. And I think that's what's happening now. There's a lot of uncertainty. The market is guessing and the share price is slipping. And all they have to do is put out a trading update. So sorry, I'm talking about EZZ, but I do get disappointed with EZZ on occasion. Maybe something is really bad going on with EZZ. Okay, so let's have a little chart for Biome. And definitely doesn't look as bad as EZZ, but not amazing. So the time to be on the Biome train was back in, well, that broke out in just after I did that video in June 2023. Share price broke out. And it's so funny because I still remember that. Share price, the chart looked nothing. It was doing nothing, the company. And I did that video, first time I looked at the company, and then just after that, share price just broke out. Beautiful chart. And share price reached a high of about 80, was that 85 cents? 88 cents, something. And yeah, no trend right now. In fact, if anything, the share price is in a bit of a downtrend. Okay, coming in at number 3, we have Star Entertainment Group. Not good news. I think there's definitely a chance that there'll be. I'm not going to make any claims, even percentage claims, when it comes to the long-term viability of this company. What I should have done with that Bitcoin, I should have just bought Star Entertainment Group. No, I would never do that. Status of refinancing proposal. It's been withdrawn. So this is from, who was it from? Salter Brothers. Been withdrawn. Yeah. The Star has continued to work digitally with Salter Brothers Capital in relation to the refinancing proposal, but has not received a binding debt commitment letter, and the refinancing proposal has now been withdrawn. Anyway, it became apparent that it was unlikely that a number of the conditions precedent to the refinancing proposal would be able to be satisfied either at all or in sufficient time to address the current liquidity needs of the company. And the company still has to release their half-year financial report. They're going to continue to explore liquidity solutions that might materially increase the group's liquidity position in the medium term, including engaging with the Bally's Corporation in relation to the proposal received on the 10th of March. However, there remains material uncertainty as to the group's ability to continue as a going concern. That's the most important thing. Yeah, so the future is uncertain for Star Entertainment Group. Now, if they do survive, I do think there is possible valuation. So there could be good value if they survive, but that's the big question. If they survive. So no point looking at the chart because they're not trading. Coming in at number 2, we have Vulcan Energy released financing in German raw materials fund update. I actually did not have a look at this. It was the most boring titled announcement. But I did note the share price was down, so I dug a little bit deeper. And it looks like they have delayed the start of this project or something like that. Yeah, so the reason I know that is because, thank you, Capital Brief, you just told me. Where is it? I think it was this one. Yeah, Vulcan Energy to delay Lionheart project to secure German funding. So there it is. They're delaying the Lionheart project to secure German funding. That's why the share price is down 10.51%. Now, I had been trading this on and off, and I've decided not to trade this because it could go either way. So I'm less confident on the movement of this company's share price in the short term. It could go up 20, 30% in 3 days, or it could go down 20 or 30% in 3 days. Share price of this company is way too volatile for me, and I just don't have the confidence either way. So let's have a look at chart for Vulcan Energy. And you can just see that in the chart. It's just all over the place. This little run we saw the share price from September through to December. This was on the 26th of November. That was really get out sign, that 1 day candlestick. And then just share price just plunged. So share price went from 850 down to 350. Looked like it was trying to rally again, but then today, maybe that's a trend killer, even though the trend wasn't really positive. So decided not to really think about trading at Vulcan Energy. Now, in saying that, there was a downtrend back in sort of the middle of last year, and it did break out on the 25th of September. And that was a really good breakout. So if I sort of get that sort of sign, maybe I'll think about it. But other than that, nothing. Okay, so it's Vulcan. Coming in number 2. Coming in number 1, we have Zip. Zippity doo dah. Share price under stress. Share price keeps on falling. Well, not every day. I think yesterday it was up 3.11%, but I can see share price down a fair bit some of the previous days. I had no idea, but there was a lawsuit or something against this company in Australia against using the name Zip. So Zip was, someone was saying Zip is a trademark. They can't use the word Zip. And I had no idea this was happening. So Zip intends to apply for special leave to appeal decision. So it looks like they got a favorable decision a few years ago, and now it's been changed. Yeah, so at First Mac, that's it. So intends to lodge application for special leave to appeal the federal court decision to regard to First Mac Limited's trademark infringement claim against Zip in Australia. It's actually the word Zip. It's the word Zip. The federal court decision in First Mac's favour follows Zip's announcement on the 1st of June 2023 that Zip had successfully defended the claim, including succeeding in both its non-use claim in relation to the first mark as well as in cross-claim, etc., etc. And I think, if I remember correctly, there was something announced, not from Zip, but something in regards to this not that long ago, that Zip can't use the word Zip in Australia. In Australia, no final orders have yet been made. Pending further court decision, there is no disruption to Zip's Australian operations. Zip also notes these proceedings do not relate to the use of any trademarks by Zip's US or New Zealand operations. So I'm pretty sure this is in terms of the word Zip. I could be wrong there, but I'm pretty sure. So let's see what Capital Brief has to say. Yeah. In fact, this is what Capital Brief says here, which favoured mortgage provider First Mac in a trademark infringement case over the use of the word Zip. And I would say that word is fairly important to Zip because that's the name of the company, Zip. Anyhow, so that's interesting. And I think that's one of the reasons why the share price has been decreasing. And to be honest with you, this has been a training stock for me. Got out fairly quickly when the tide was turning. And you can see why just by the chart. So this was a beautifully traded company for probably, So the breakout happened back in December 2023 or late November 2023. And the share price was 40 cents. And there was no reason to even be thinking about getting out until early or late last year, early this year. And I got out somewhere in there, I forget which. And then there was definitely a trend killer on the 30th of January. That was, if you hadn't gotten out by then, that was get out. And you can see what the share price has done since then. It's collapsed it's gone from a high of almost 360 down $1.60. And to be honest with you, there's no end in sight. Share price could fall significantly further from here. Good not. Maybe it'll bounce from here. Anyhow, that's all I've got for the 5 stocks of the day. Zip is the stock of the day. Telix Pharmaceuticals. I'll do one. By the way, I made 3 acquisitions today. In fact, this will be my question. Sorry about TLX. I don't know what's happening. I can't give you any reasons. I haven't. Maybe there is a reason, but I just don't know. I bought some New Farm shares today as a trade, just because of this chart. So I won't get rid of this purple box. That's a nice support box. That's my support box. The share price had a moving average crossover. Share price looks pretty good. So I bought some shares in New Farm today. And I also bought some shares in APA Group. This one isn't interesting. This was a delayed reaction. So I've been doing research on trend killers. And then the opposite of trend killers, well, this is not the opposite. So when I'm saying trend killers, it's talking about when the share price drops a lot in one day. It's a solid red candlestick, sort of like Zip's one. But I was thinking, what about the reverse? what happens if the share price is in a downtrend? When I say trend killers, perfect example of this, is Appen. I think it's Appen. I wonder what the perfect example of this is. Yeah, this is a really good example. Appen. So share price was in an uptrend. Company released something negative on the 26th of February results. Share price dropped 33.33%. Trend killer. Look what the share price has done since then. It killed the trend. That's the whole point of a trend killer. But I've been thinking, I'd only been looking at the negative trend killers like this one. And then I hadn't been thinking about the positive ones. Was thinking if this sort of trend killer, like happens, is sort of get out, get out of this trade right now. That is the signal I would get. Is the opposite true? So I'm starting to look at the complete reverse. And I noticed APA Group had almost the exact reverse. Share price in a downtrend. Yep, share price in a downtrend. And then they released something positive on the 24th of February results. Share price popped up on that day 7.72%. And then next day rose another 8%. And then look at the chart. Chart looks really good. So I bought some shares in APA Group. So delayed. I should have saw this a little bit before it happened, but I was a little bit, my rules were a little bit different. Now my rules are when you see this sort of candlestick or this reaction of the market, even if the share price is only at like a 1 month high, 2 month high, it may be enough. Now it has to be on the back of some really positive news. So it can't be like drilling results, or maybe it could be, but it has to be on some positive results like half year results or full year results, trading update, profit upgrade. Anyway, so yeah, this is another purchase I made today. And you'll notice all three companies are much bigger. So these are big companies. Well, they're small. Oh, no, I wouldn't say small, and Karoon was the other one. I do like this potential of this chart. And I do think there is some value here. So this is one I've been looking at for a while because of valuation reasons. They did have some bad news with regards to the suspension of that operations. But if you have a look at, say, the P ratio 6.69, dividend yield 7.25%, and I do think just based on valuation, this could be a nice little longer term hold. Maybe, but again, these are just trading positions. And if a trade goes against me, sell out. Don't get too cute. Okay, that's all I have for today's video. If you have any questions, any thoughts, leave those in the comment section of this video. Otherwise, I'm not a financial advisor. If you need financial advice, make sure you seek out someone who is qualified and can speak to your own financial needs. That's it for this video. Have a good day. Bye.